Call a regular council meeting for the corporation of the town of Cobalt on October 15th, 2024 to order at 6 p.m. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. None. 3, public meetings. Planning application 2024-04, zoning bylaw amendment for 1 Hudson Bay Road pursuant to section 34 of the Planning Act. This evening, there's a public meeting scheduled for a zoning bylaw amendment application. I will briefly summarize the procedure to be utilized for the meeting first. The clerk will then advise council as to when, how, and to whom notice of public meeting was circulated for the proposed amendment being considered. The clerk will also summarize any correspondence on file and advise of the appeal procedures, as well as advise of the purpose and effect of the bylaw associated with the application, and provide additional information that is relevant to the application. From there, the public will have an opportunity to speak to the bylaw being considered through the mayor. After the public comments, the public meeting will be closed. Council has the ability to consider the bylaw at the end of tonight's council meeting. I now declare this meeting to be a public meeting pursuant to section 34 of the Planning Act to deal with the following proposed amendment. 1, application file number 2024-04, zoning bylaw amendment 1 Hudson Bay Road. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? None? Okay, would the clerk please describe how notice was provided?
Notice of the public meeting was provided by mailing a notice to all property owners within 120 meters, posting a sign on the property, posting on the town's bulletin board, as well as the town's social media. All notices were published at least 20 days prior to this evening's meeting. Included in the notice was an explanation of the purpose and effect and a key map showing the location of the property or a description of the lands to be affected by the proposed application. These circulations were all provided in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act. Members of the public are advised at this point that unless they make an oral or written submission to council before council makes a decision on these applications, that any subsequent appeal to the Ontario Municipal Board may be dismissed by the board. Anyone who wishes to be notified in writing of the council's decision respecting the proposed zoning bylaw amendment must submit a written request to the town manager. No comments were received prior to the public meeting.
And does any member of the public have any comments or questions? There are no members of the public. Does any member of council have comments or questions? Councillor Anderson.
Since this is the first time we went through that, the only question I had was, does that mean like for a building like that, if the owner now sells it and someone else buys it and then is doing something else, then we have to have another amendment to the zoning?
If it's not covered under
If it's not
the current, yeah.
Okay, yep, that answers my question.
Anybody else? Okay, I have one question. If I could ask Mike to come forward. My question is, what exactly will you be utilizing that building for?
So primarily for storage.
Okay.
It's obviously a very large open space. So our plan is really to have extra storage, particularly for raw materials, in this case like raw steel, like things of that. Time is primarily an industrial company, so you know, steel, rubber, industrial products. The reason we applied with working with the town for light industrial is we just wanted to be on site. Say for example, we're housing pipe or steel there in large quantity, and it's beneficial for us to cut it to size on site. That's why we ask for the light manufacturing to go with it. Just want to be on site if for some reason there's all of a sudden a small crew of people working there that we're on site. But primarily storage, you know, maybe some material prep, like I said, like manufacturing, not And that's our initial, objection to having.
Okay, so there's nothing that's gonna require any additional filtration to be put into place or anything? Okay. Counselor Hughes?
Is this gonna be all indoor storage, or is this gonna be all out both sides of the road, pipe
No,
everywhere?
all
All indoor?
indoor.
So we won't see any piles of,
Yeah, I don't foresee anything being outside at all.
Counselor Starchuck?
Yeah, hi. I was just wondering, if you have trucks going to be coming in, is it going to be frequent?
It won't be frequent. We're talking like a couple of months sort of thing. It's when we take, but not frequent. In the case of like our local truck, you might be once or twice a week in like a small, like a half ton or a 3 ton.
So we're not talking tractor trailer? Because what my concern was, it's nothing to do with that. I mean, if you're going to have more traffic there, I have a concern with the square, the Argentite, Lang, and Prospect Streets come together. It really needs to be a three-way stop there, because if you're going to have big trucks coming, you don't want them going past the tea shop there. You're going to make that turn, like off of Lang Street. I don't know which way you're coming from mostly. Is it coming from the north or the south, the Cobalt?
I don't know. There definitely will be tractor trailers
Yeah,
from time to time.
See, that's a dangerous intersection there. That's why I'm concerned that we need to put a three-way stop in there, because you have no vision coming out off of Argentite. You've got a big truck there. You don't want to be going up past by the tea shop there. You have that boulevard in the center of the road there. That's my concern. And then you also have a problem there at Hudson Bay and Argentite Street where they come together. It's close to where I live, right? I know the situation there. It's very dangerous also there. And coming around the building to the arena, you can't see around the corner. And the street is very narrow there. The street also runs across your property there, I believe too. That goes right across the middle. Yeah, the Hudson's Bay Road. It comes right. It's like that's the arena property, isn't it? And that's a very narrow spot. I think that needs to be widened. I don't know how we arrange this, but it's a dangerous spot. I don't know how often you've been down there for traffic. I'm saying the Public Works Department probably know a lot about this too, since they go down that road a lot.
And that's something we can address.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I
At
want
a
to
later date.
bring anything into the open now to get this. Yeah, it is dangerous there. I'm telling you, I've had a few near misses coming out of my driveway.
Yeah, no, we'll
Yeah,
have a
I just
meeting.
want to bring everything out into the open. This is what we're
Yeah.
looking at here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough. Counselor LaFleur?
How heavy are your trucks going to be? What are they going to be hauling? Like how heavy is the weight?
It would be
Approximate.
I can't say for sure, but we're talking about that could be heavy. Like it would be transport loads sometimes.
Yeah.
Raw steel.
For quite a while. The thing I'm saying is, what I'm getting at is when they're making these corners, especially to go down to the arena, it's going to be really tight. I mean, really tight. And traffic gets a little crazy sometimes, not a lot. But if they're going to be coming in from near Liskeard to come in, that is almost an impossible turn for them to make. I said almost. They'll have to take the other road and then come in. But if they go up, they got to make sure they come in by the bus stop, but by the.
That's why I would think you'd avoid, because you got the boulevard in the
I
middle
know.
of the intersection.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that truck to make that turn in front of the old bank is going to be practically impossible if he's got a heavy load.
Right. I'd like to point out that I'm sure they looked into all of this before they actually did the purchase of the property. So,
I just want to make sure this
yeah.
heavy
That's
loads
not
can
our
really
job
play
here
havoc
tonight.
on the highways.
Okay, that's not our job here tonight. Our job is to pass a zoning amendment or not.
Oh, I see. Oh,
We have to be thought of.
First I hear of it, so I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want clarification,
Okay.
because I've seen what rubber can do to the asphalt.
It's not up to us to govern their business. It's up to us to pass the zoning amendment or not. Councillor Wilcox.
Thank you, Your Worship. My personal opinion, those comments that have been made are important, but
They are.
surmountable. As far as I'm concerned, I'd just like to pass this amendment so we can welcome time to our town.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, but I want to make sure it's.
This might help everyone out. Do we have any sort of weight limits on our roads in Cobalt?
We have transports pass through Cobalt, go through Cobalt all the time. And we have the truck driving school go through here 2-3
They're
times a
empty
day.
though. They're empty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Truck piece doesn't go down that street and say,
Okay.
we want to make sure.
I
that's-
understand your concerns, Counselor Starcheck, but those are things we can address with Public Works at a later date. I would also like to join Counselor Wilcox in passing this and welcoming time to Cobalt. It's nice to see us grow by one business at a time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, wow. I'm
No objection.
I will say our first priority is to improve the building. And unfortunately, those initial improvements are probably not going to be visual, because it'll be a lot of
Internal.
making sure it doesn't leak and things
Yeah.
like that, right?
Sure.
That's
I've got
usually
no
what happens when you buy places, is the unseen things you get first. So, okay, any other questions? No? Okay. If there's no further questions, the bylaw for the zoning bylaw amendment will be considered at the end of the council meeting for decision, and I hereby declare this public meeting closed. Okay. For deputations, delegations, there are none. 5, adoption of meeting agenda. Draft motion. Be it resolved that council approve the agenda of the regular meeting dated October 15th, 2024 as presented. Need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Anderson and Councillor Lafleur. Any discussion, errors, clarification required on the agenda? None. Okay, all in favor? Carried. 6, adoption of previous council minutes, draft motion. Be it resolved that council approve the following minutes as presented. Regular meeting of council September 17th, 2024. Special meeting of council October 3rd, 2024. Any clarification, errors? None? Okay, I need a mover and a seconder. Councilor LaFleur and Councilor Wilcox. Any discussion? Sorry, I asked my question a little early. None? Okay, all in favor? Carried. Staff reports, draft motion. Be it resolved that council accept the staff reports as presented. I need a mover and a seconder. Councilor Starchuk, Councilor Hughes. Oh, sorry. Any discussion? 7.1 Public Works, October 2024. Any clarification required? No. 7.2 Cobalt Public Library minutes, August 12th, 2024. Everybody's good with that? Staff report 2024-10-15-01, variance report 2024 quarter 3. Any clarification required? Staff? No. Everybody's good. 7.4 staff report 2024-10-15-02, capital budget update 2024. Any clarification required? 7.5 staff report 2024-10-15-03, zoning bylaw amendment, planning application 2024-04. Any further clarification required from staff? No. Okay, all in favor? Carried. 8, items for council consideration. 8.1, 2025 Budget Advisory Group. Draft motion. Be it resolved that Councillor blank and Councillor blank be appointed to the 2025 Advisory Group. I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Anderson, Counselor LaFleur. Okay, discussion. Which two counselors are we going to put on the budget committee for 2025? Counselor Anderson?
I'm still willing to stay there.
Okay.
On the other hand, if I can.
Counselor LaFleur? Okay. Is there council okay with that?
My name.
You'd like to put your name in?
Okay, then let Jim take my spot.
No, I don't take your spot. I'll go for it.
The budget meetings are during the day. Will you be able to attend?
I'm sure we can arrange morning or afternoon when necessary, or.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can work around.
Yeah.
We're giving ourselves.
Okay, so Counselor Starchuk and Counselor LaFleur on our budget committee.
That's fine, yeah. They'll get good education.
Okay.
Okay? All in favor? Carried. Library operating grant request. Draft motion. Be it resolved that council disperse $12,500 to the Cobalt Public Library effective immediately. A mover and a seconder. Counselor Anderson and Counselor Wilcox. Discussion.
Just curious as to why it hasn't been given already. Why we're waiting this long. This happened last year too. The half of it got.
I think because it's just been so busy and nobody's requested it, so.
I think though, even it's budgeted, we still wait for them to request it, I believe.
I thought if it was in the budget, they have to get it anyways, right? So I just wondering why we take.
I mean, we budget for utilities, we don't take the 60,000, we budget and give it, we wait for a bill, like,
Oh, okay.
So I don't
I
know.
thought it was a set amount they were supposed to get.
No, it is a set amount, but again, like we don't pay all the utility bills in one lump sum. We don't pay out the grant request and.
Oh, okay.
until it's
I just
requested.
didn't know how it worked 'cause it happened last year too.
Yeah, it's budgeted, it's just not paid until it's requested. Okay? Any other discussion? No? Okay, all in favor? Carried. Non-mandatory services review. Draft motion. Be it resolved that council directs staff to disperse a non-mandatory services review survey by mail to the residents of Cobalt at a cost of approximately $110. I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor LaFleur and Counselor Hughes. Discussion, questions? Counselor Wilcox.
I'm wondering why we didn't put on the animal control person and the
Philo?
bylaw officer.
We can add those. It's a very good insight. I think we were so focused on everything else that we completely missed that.
Would you say exceptional?
Sorry, that you're
You said it was
exceptional?
very good. I was just thinking,
Well,
Excellent.
some days, yes.
okay.
we can definitely have that added.
Okay, so we can add those.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else that we've missed or that we should add?
I was wondering if we should have, how many people reside at your property? Because that would give us a number. more of a
That's
number.
actually a very good point.
I can do that right at the back, on the bottom,
Yeah.
on the side.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll give us some good insight.
Mhm.
Counselor Hughes?
Or at least figure it out in each category, how many people would use that service. Like maybe mom and dad don't take the bus, but 2 kids do, or 1 kid does. Rather than just one check per bus.
Now, I guess, could we put another column in there with number of users in the household?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might also have to put on frequency too.
Yeah.
You know, when I take the bus, it's once a
Number
week.
of users and then another column for frequency? That shouldn't clutter it up too much.
Mhm.
We'll make it work.
And are we going, could we, I don't know if this is something we can do, but like, could we put down some of the money that, or the percentage of our taxes that goes to these services, like the dog catcher or the bylaw or the library, or how it breaks down? So, because somebody might be like, well, if it's $10, who cares? But if it's $1,000 or something, then maybe.
Well, no, that's not gonna change whether they use the service or not.
Yeah.
It will change whether they wanna keep the service or not.
Yeah. because,
But I think that comes about in further meetings as we go down the road on this. I believe, that's my thought on it.
Yeah, the financial side is more ours.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Anything else? We're at the service level review.
8-3,
Sorry?
8-3.
8-3, yes. And no? Okay. So,
Through you, I'm hoping to have this out this week and maybe put a deadline on it for when we, like the week before, maybe the end of the month, so that we have
time to review it and
before the
correlate
next
the
meeting.
results.
Is that okay, or is that not enough time?
No,
to
I
have the
think
December
that's,
meeting?
that's 3 weeks, is it
Yeah.
not? No, it's 2 weeks. Maybe a week before our next meeting?
Yeah, so the first week of November.
Yeah. And that's 3 weeks for them to respond.
Mhm.
Does that, does everybody feel that's sufficient?
How are we gonna make them available back to us? Drop off the office or drop off the post office as well or something?
I
Yeah, so
believe
we're
it's on
asking
the
people
form.
to drop it off at the municipal office or use our Dropbox, or email it to us, take a picture and email it to us. So if we do like November 1st, yeah, it would be 2 weeks. So that we kind of need it then before the next agenda is getting done the next Monday.
If we have to wait till the meeting after, it's not a big deal. If we leave this out in public for a month, we're not that
Wait
much
for a
of a rush
December
for the
meeting?
information.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll put a due date of, let's say, November 29th to do it. Is that okay?
Another one of those exceptional recommendations, yeah.
Yeah, because then that gives the staff time to correlate the results to bring to the meeting. Okay? Okay, and so any other, so the office is gonna go ahead and make the changes we've discussed, and they're gonna go ahead and mail it out.
Mhm.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Rather than have us review it again and delay it. Okay? Okay, so all in favor? Carried. Items for council information, draft motion. Be it resolved that council accept the items for council information as presented. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Lafleur and Councillor Anderson. Any discussion? 9.1 Temiskaming Health Unit, Q2 Board of Health Report. And the discussion should have come after that. No? Okay, all in favor? Carried. 10, bylaws and agreements. 10.1, bylaw 2024-39, zoning bylaw amendment, 1 Hudson Bay Road. There was a staff report, 2024-10-15-03, planning application, 2024-04. Draft motion. Whereas the Corporation of the Town of Cobalt has received planning application 2024-04 amendment zoning bylaw 2022-24 for 1 Hudson Bay Road. And whereas authority is provided pursuant to section 34 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, CP 13 to pass this bylaw. And whereas council of the Town of Cobalt held a public meeting in accordance with the requirements of section 34 of the Planning Act. And whereas council received staff report 2024-10-15-03 with a recommendation to adopt bylaw 2024-39. Now therefore be it resolved that bylaw 2024-39 being a bylaw to amend Schedule A to the zoning bylaw 2024-24 to allow for a site-specific exception to the institutional 1 zoning of the property to allow the building to be used for cold storage and allow light manufacturing on the property, be taken as read a first, second, and third time and finally pass this 15th day of October 2024. And further, that the said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. Need a mover and a seconder? Councillor Wilcox, Councillor Hughes. Any other discussion? No? Okay, all in favor? Carried. 10.2, bylaw 2024-40, council vacancy procedure. Draft motion, be it resolved that bylaw 2024-40 being a bylaw to provide for the filling of council vacancies during a term of council be taken as read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 15th day of October 2024. And further, that the said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. A mover and a seconder. Councillor Starchuk and Councillor Lafleur, discussion? Councillor Wilcox.
I can't support this as it's submitted. My reasons being, and I'm just trying to find the appropriate part. Just be a sec. I have difficulty with the idea of locking ourselves into appointing the seventh person on the ballots to fill in a vacancy as our first choice. I know the Municipal Act really gives us a great deal of variance on how to proceed. Basically, you can hold an election or you can appoint. I'm not sure it makes sense to tie our hands to appointing someone who also ran for council, and not to disparage or disparage anybody, but previous councils, we've often played a game of looking at best scenario, worst scenario. And if you had 6 people who were good and ran, and you had a 7th who was running for whatever reason, spurious and not particularly great, do you really want to just automatically give that person a seat on council because they chose to apply to run? I'm not sure that oven by itself is a reasonable expectation. Secondly, if we go to filling a vacancy by calling for nominations, by nominees, someone who was 7th certainly has a leg up on everybody else and could be the obvious choice. But I think inherently, council should not bind itself to something that it may want to have more input on than just saying 7th is the one. And also the question that came immediately to mind was, after a year, we go automatically to filling by nominees. And I'm wondering what happened over the course of a year to take away somebody's position as 7th in line, that suddenly they're no longer available.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to me. That just doesn't seem logical.
Okay, and my viewpoint is that somebody and the municipality's gone to the expense of running an election, so if it's within the first year, people's circumstances haven't really changed that much. So to me, it makes sense that rather than go through the expense of putting an ad out, asking for people to do their letters of expression, you take the next one in line. Yeah, okay, they maybe not be so great, but they're only one voice of 7. That's our democracy at work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they can come in and change the world. After a year, people's circumstances tend to change because after you've sat at home, if you're retired or you've continued on with your work life, after a year, you've got your life on a schedule, and it takes a lot to want to disrupt that again. You're out of that mindset because you've got to be in a mindset to run, that you know it's going to be an interruption to your personal life, because this does take time out of our personal lives and adds significant stress at times to our personal life. Well, I respect what you're saying, and that is definitely one school of thought. This is only my school of thought, and as we're in a democratic society, we also have 5 other schools of thought. Councillor Wilcox.
We do indeed have many schools of thought. My thought to your first point, that whoever the person is ran and therefore is entitled to a seat and only has a small impact on results of council, may or may not be true, but other councils that I've served on, and we've gone through the replacement process, there have been times when we've looked for people with a particular background, be it financial, public works, all kinds of things at different times. And sometimes it does help to add somebody with the talent you need rather than taking the next member in line. That is the first point. And secondly, I got to tell you, if I was number 7 in line and you told me, well, we don't care anymore because you've probably changed, so we're just going to do it differently now, I would be really, really kind of upset by that too. I think, no, it's still me. You can give the good graces to come and ask me. If that's your policy, follow your policy. You know, it just, I would like to avoid that scenario entirely and just give council the option that the act allows us, so that we can do it all in good judgment and something more affirmative.
Okay, Councillor Anderson?
Change. Right. The 7th person in line, I will not say publicly, but there have been at least 2 elections that I know of. That would have been a major, major, major mistake.
Okay.
I prefer going out and asking people, you know, putting in an ad, doing it the formal way, putting in an ad to look for another counselor. And then, as we always have done on council, we've thought about it and said, who's out there that would be good? And gone and spoken to them to see if they will send in a letter asking to come on. So.
Okay, you realize this vacancy on council is not necessarily just the councillor, right? It could be the mayor.
Oh, yes.
So your suggestion is we just go to expressions of interest
Yeah.
immediately,
That's why we have a.
no matter how soon the election was held?
I thought we got a backup mayor though, so we wouldn't have that problem.
Sorry?
Deputy mayor would step into the mayor's position.
No, that's not.
Temporarily until the new mayor is chosen.
Yeah. Okay, so is that the wish of council that we strike the within 1 year and we just go to expressions of interest immediately?
Mhm.
I think so.
Mhm.
Even if it's under a year, like if it's, say it was 4 months into it, still go to,
Expressions of
is that
interest?
what you mean?
Mhm.
So any vacancy of council shall be filled by 2.2.
Mhm.
And
By appointment only.
that also means that even the person that came in 7th has the opportunity.
Oh, yes.
To apply again. You are correct.
They can put their
And to
name
be fully
forward.
considered.
If they're
It's like
still
what happened
interested,
with
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Put your name forward and I,
Yeah, but I mean, that person that was 7th
Yeah.
in line, like, could
Mhm.
still apply. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It wasn't automatic, okay.
And the only reason we're trying to come up with this procedure is because it takes away some of the time of bringing it to council to get council to tell the staff how to fill the vacancy, because we have 90 days to do it. And that's 3 months of meetings that you have a vacant seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on the time of year, especially if it's in the summer when people are going on vacations, it could mean you don't have quorum.
Mhm.
That's right.
So we will make those changes and we'll write this back to the next council meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Vote or anything on that?
No, you're going to. I just got to get back to that page on my agenda.
Basically, we're voting to do the same.
We're going to defer it to the next meeting, pending the changes that were asked for. Okay, so all in favor of that?
Deferring it?
Okay, carried. 11, unfinished business, there is none. 12, new business. 12.1, schedule of accounts. Draft motion, be it resolved that council receive the following schedules as presented. Schedule number 2024-18 in the amount of $705,349.63. Schedule number 2024-19 in the amount of $176,301.72. I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor LaFleur? Counselor Anderson, any discussion? Clarification? Counselor Starchuck?
Could we maybe clarify to the public why is this? what it
So
is?
high?
Yeah, because it is not that it's,
We received the money from Infrastructure Ontario to pay for the new fire truck.
there you go, so it's not, it's
It
accounted
was an
for.
in and
Yeah.
out. We're not spending $700,000.
Something decided.
Okay,
Went in faster than it came out, or came out faster than it went in.
okay, all in favor?
That
Carrie.
was excellent, by the way.
Except for-
13, mayor's report, and this is where I kind of would have alluded to the fact that hip hip hooray, we have our new fire truck. On October, sorry Cassie, can you help me out here? Remember what date that was?
It's sharp.
On October 26th, the fire department is going to have a barbecue to show off their new fire truck. We are also going to have the OPP there, as well as EMS services. So we welcome the residents to come out. That is weather pending, so obviously if it's a snowstorm, our barbecue will be delayed.
Fire truck outside, and we go inside.
And anybody who would like to see the new truck is more than welcome to come out, enjoy a burger, and
Is that a Saturday?
it is a Saturday, yes. And it is 12 to 3, yes. Yeah, 12 to 3 in the afternoon,
What date's that?
October 26th, Saturday. Okay?
Will there be free rides?
I don't think there's free rides on the fire truck. There might be liability issues with that.
lost me on gas.
They go by the insurance policy.
And that's pretty much all I have, other than Halloween's coming. So I hope everybody's got the goodies ready for the little ones. And if you're out that evening, please watch for our kids. Okay. 14, closed meeting, draft motion. Be it resolved that council convene in closed session as per section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended in order to address a matter pertaining to subsection 2B, personal matter about identifiable individual, including municipal or local board members. 2, I, a trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, financial, or labor relations information supplied in confidence to the municipality or local board. We need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Hughes, Councillor Starchuck, all in favor? Carried. We will take a 10-minute break before we convene into closed, and we will not be resuming video after close. Hey, Jim, staff is going to talk to Aaron about your